All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We live in a world where you can literally simulate a trip to Mars right inside a classroom. It's wild, right? But with all these flashy new gadgets, it is so incredibly easy to get distracted and completely forget how people actually learn. We're looking at a really fascinating landscape today, one defined by intelligent, connected, and highly interactive tools. From artificial intelligence all the way to virtual reality, these evolving systems are rapidly shaping how we absorb information. But with so much tech out there, we're going to ground our entire analysis today in one absolute foundational philosophy.
So the crucial takeaway here is simple, but man, is it powerful. New technology should serve learning. Learning should not be forced to serve technology. Think about it for a second. A weak lesson doesn't magically become a masterpiece just because it runs on a high-end, cloud-connected device or some sophisticated app. At the end of the day, technology is merely a tool, and its sole purpose is to serve your core learning objective.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with Part 1, Pedagogy before the technology, move into Part 2, AI as an assistant, explore Part 3, Gamification done right, dive into Part 4, Immersive tech, AR and VR, and finally look at Part 5, Choosing the right tool.
Section 1. Pedagogy before the technology, setting our compass.
Okay, so before you even power on a tablet or open a software platform, you need a solid framework. First, you've got to define your objective. What exactly should your learners know or be able to do? Next, you really have to analyze your learners, looking closely at their specific context and access. Only then do you plan the activity, figuring out what experience will actually help them reach that goal. Step 4 is finally selecting the tool that best supports that exact experience. And lastly, evidence. How are you going to assess and improve this learning? Following this progression keeps the horse firmly in front of the cart, where it belongs.
Section 2. AI as an assistant, reducing workload.
It's honestly amazing how AI can act like an always-on tutor outside of class time. It can instantly simplify complex concepts or even help you brainstorm. Whether you're using a chatbot or a voice assistant, AI is essentially a highly capable sidekick that processes patterns at just incredible speeds. It can significantly reduce your routine workload by generating lesson ideas, offering practice questions, or even suggesting feedback comments based on a rubric you provide. It's totally shifting the educational landscape by acting as a powerful helper rather than a replacement for human judgment.
But hey, let's be real for a second about classroom realities. AI can confidently present completely incorrect facts. You've probably heard of this. It's known as a hallucination, where the AI might just invent a fake book, author, or article out of thin air just to support its claims. And because it relies on the data it was trained on, it can also reflect unfair biases or cultural assumptions. Add in the very serious privacy risks if sensitive learner data is shared, and it becomes crystal clear that blind trust in AI is simply not an option.
To counter those risks, you're going to want to keep these 5 responsible design principles in your back pocket. First, always declare when and how AI was used. Second, and I literally cannot stress this enough, verify every single fact, example, and calculation. Third, protect your students by never uploading private data into public AI tools. Fourth, adapt the output to fit your local context and specific curriculum. And fifth, make absolutely sure students are using it to actually learn and improve their understanding, not just to bypass putting in the hard work.
Section 3. Gamification done right, meaningful motivation.
Okay, we really need to clear up a common mix-up here. It's essential to sharply differentiate 2 concepts. Gamification simply adds game-like elements to a standard task. For example, awarding badges for completing a normal science worksheet. Game-based learning, on the other hand, means the game itself is the primary activity, like having students play a specialized video game just to practice fractions. Today, our focus is squarely on gamification.
So standard gamification elements, we're talking points, badges, and levels, are absolutely fantastic for rewarding effort, collaboration, and mastery. And you know what the best part is? You don't always need expensive tech to do this. You could run a simple reading challenge where learners unlock physical badges, or host a quiz where groups earn points specifically for explaining their reasoning, not just blurting out the right answer. These elements make progress visible and turn standard tasks into genuinely meaningful challenges. But just like AI, this whole thing comes with some pretty distinct risks. We have to be incredibly careful that public leaderboards don't embarrass struggling learners, or that a hyper-competitive environment doesn't end up discouraging slower students. If you rely too heavily on external rewards, you actually risk reducing a student's intrinsic interest in the subject itself. Game elements should never, ever become a distraction that overshadows your actual learning goals.
To build a truly inclusive environment, your game elements shouldn't just be background noise. You need to align them to your core objectives, balance your rewards so you're praising effort and teamwork, and above all, include everyone so no one is feeling excluded or shamed. Use points as a form of constructive feedback, and finally, ensure students reflect on what they actually learned, not just the points they scored. Good gamification supports learning. It doesn't distract from it.
Section 4. Immersive tech, AR and VR, safe exploration.
Let's split these two definitions perfectly. Augmented reality, or AR, adds digital elements to the real world you can still see. Think about pointing a tablet at a textbook and watching an interactive 3D model of a molecule just pop up right on your desk. Virtual reality, however, completely replaces the physical room, typically using a headset to place the learner inside a computer-generated environment, making them feel as though they are actually walking through a virtual museum or standing on the surface of the moon.
VR headsets and digital simulations are absolute game changers for creating safe spaces where learners can practice decision-making without real-world risks or massive costs. Think about a student pilot in a flight simulator, or medical students practicing a complex procedure. They can experiment, make mistakes, and try again without any physical danger. However, our pedagogy compass must stay active here. This hardware can be expensive, it might cause some users dizziness, and the thrill of the immersion should never replace proper discussion and reflection.
Section 5. Choosing the right tool, the educator's cheat sheet.
Think of this as your ultimate cheat sheet to match the tech to your learner's needs. Turn to AI when your learners need explanations, extra practice, or brainstorming support. Use gamification to boost their motivation, track progress, and encourage teamwork. When you need to help them visualize complex or abstract concepts, overlay them with augmented reality. And for safe practice, or when real-world experiences are just too far, too costly, or too risky, rely on virtual reality and simulations. By matching the technology strength to your specific learner needs, pedagogy remains the driving force.
I'll leave you with this as your exit ticket today. Technology should always serve learning, not the other way around. So, as you design your next educational experience, ask yourself, what is one specific benefit you'll leverage, and what is one risk you'll actively plan to mitigate? It all comes back to purpose, inclusion, and access. The future of learning is in your hands, so how are you going to build it?